cheers in the ambience. I got a ring to think then again. I'm such a winner, I'll win again. Some think I'm a Viking or maybe a wizard. I feel like I'm both when I'm in the ring. Victory brings serenity. I give them a three-piece, that's for the three-peat, and then I leave with the Trinity. True baller got all the amenities. All the others just wanna be mini-me's. Haters mad when they in my vicinity.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to King Closers Formula on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon at 2:22. I wanted to talk today about if I were to start wholesaling today. We just passed a couple months ago a decade in this industry. I remember my feelings when I found out about wholesaling. Like, I was overwhelmed at the simplicity of it, but also the complexity of doing a real estate transaction, underwriting, finding buyers. What did that look like if I had to terminate a contract? Earnest money deposits. Here in Texas, we have option fees. There's so many different aspects to it. So it was like, on one hand, I was super excited because it was like, hey, I don't have to have money to do this business. But on the other hand, there was a lot of complexity. So I looked at this and I said, man, this is a topic that I'd love to discuss. Like, today, what would I do differently than I did back then? And how would I address getting started in wholesaling in 2024 in comparison to 2014? One thing I will say, a drastic difference between now and a decade ago is the amount of information that is readily available to you for free, like this video here on YouTube. This didn't really exist a decade ago. And that's both a positive and a negative. One thing that I think that is a positive is obviously you don't have to spend $65,000 like I did to even learn what wholesaling is. And I'm sure with a little bit more due diligence and research, I probably could have found out more information prior to spending that money. But one of the negatives is that there's so much information out there about how to wholesale. It can become overwhelming on what is the correct way to do this business and where can you get lost. And if you start blending too many different theories, that's where shiny object takes over and you're not really succeeding at anything inside of your business. So I'm going to try to use what we did successfully a decade ago, mirror that or marry that with the information that's available today and say, hey, this is what I think is the best path if you want to get started in wholesaling today. Now, before we get into that, I will say October 19th was my birthday, my son's birthday. So many of you reached out, sent me messages, posted on Facebook. I appreciate it. I went back, I read each and every one of them. I appreciate the love and the support, the kind words. I am officially over the hill. I'm an old man, 40 years old. I don't feel like an old man, but that's what everybody tells me I'm supposed to say when you turn 40. However, I will say I don't feel any different now than I did when I turned 30. I'm excited about everything that we've got going on in our business. And I said this to multiple people that were like, man, what can I get you for your birthday? Dude, I live such an awesome life. I feel like I have a birthday every single day. It's why I'm so passionate to bring these types of topics to you guys, because wholesaling has been a huge part of why I feel that way. It's enabled us to be able to, what we say around here, create your own reality. The reality that we've created for ourselves is awesome. And I want to share as much knowledge as we have with you guys so you can hopefully feel the exact same way that I do about my life and about your business. So that being said, let's get into today's topic. Going back to 2014, I've regularly talked about the $65,000 investment that we made into our education. And a lot of times I say it with a negative connotation where it was like, we spent $65,000 and all they taught us was how to get deals off the MLS and Dispo through Craigslist. Now, when I simplify it down, that's an absolute fact. Okay. I'm not going to give them too much credit, but due to the nature of how simplistic they made wholesaling, it allowed us to be very focused coming right out of the gates. And I think that was one of the aspects as to why we were able to achieve a sustainable business early on without necessarily having enough knowledge, because it was simple. And so when I look at some of the really good things that came from that, we only knew how to get deals off the MLS. We weren't worried about direct-to-seller marketing yet because we didn't even know that was a thing. So we understood coming right out of the gates, like, hey, this is where we're going to go look. This is where we're going to try to find deals. We had a profit calculator. We knew how to, all right, we weren't perfect at comping, right? That's a skill set that takes time to learn. But we knew, hey, we needed to determine what the after repair value is. That is determined based off the amount of repairs that you do. We had a contracting background that helped us a little bit in understanding how to come up with those rehab numbers. And then based off of that, they used a very simple 70% of ARV minus repairs minus your wholesale fee is your maximum allowable offer. So we knew, hey, this is where we should get deals price point wise. And then dispositions wise, we were told, hey, you should Dispo on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and, places like that and in Facebook groups. And that simplified the process down for us. So we weren't really concerned about making too many decisions because we didn't even know that there were decisions to be made. However, the majority of you guys today probably feel like you have a ton of decisions that you have to make when it comes to how are you going to get started in your wholesaling business. So the first thing that I would do if I were getting started today is you need to educate yourself. You need to have a general understanding of what wholesaling is and how to do that. And I do not think that you should spend money to do that because the information is readily available to you for free today. So if I were getting started, and obviously I'm a pretty big fan of myself in the way that I teach things. Obviously, I believe in it because it's led to the life that I live today. So I would say, go watch these videos, these very specific videos. I put a lot of videos out there, but these are the ones that I would say if I were to get started today, I would go watch these, okay? This playlist, the foundations for virtual wholesaling. I believe if you watch this playlist right here, it is going to give you everything that you need to understand enough about wholesaling. How to virtually wholesale from A to Z. This breaks down everything that you need to know from a very general aspect. Then you have the closer's formula, how to talk to sellers, then how to comp and underwrite. Which ships will you be sailing? This would be lead generation marketing. What is the best market for wholesaling? How do you dispo? 5 steps to talk, sell your deals to buyer. How do you talk to your buyers? How do you build a bridge for your end buyers? There's a little motivation. And I believe we're in the golden age of wholesaling. Okay. We comp live on here. A little bit more in acquisitions, the 4 buckets of sellers, more in acquisitions, the 6 steps to unshakable confidence on the phone. This playlist right here, if you were to watch this, this is going to give you enough information right here that you are going to understand what wholesaling is and how to get started. I firmly believe that. You really don't need to pay for any education. This right here is more information than a course would ever give you. In fact, this is a video. The Closer's Formula Breakdown is a video from one of our paid courses. So this right here is going to give you everything that you need. Okay. That's the first thing I do. Educate myself. I'd watch that entire playlist. It'd probably take you a week to 2 weeks. Let's just say it takes 2 weeks. 2 weeks to educate yourself. Okay, so now you have enough information to be dangerous. Okay, now the next thing that you need to do is you need to simplify what your business is going to be moving forward, because the thing that happens in 2024 is that we see all of this information out there in social media that we decide we want to be a wholesaler, but we need to understand how to buy property sub 2. We need to understand novations, seller finance. I also need to have rental properties, and I want to flip properties because everybody wants that ego stroke of flipping a property in their life. I disagree. I think it is very critical early on that you stick to just wholesaling, and you don't need to know anything else outside of just cash offers. The vast majority of your deals are just going to be cash offers anyways. You can worry about learning sub 2 and novations and all of that later on in the future. Are you going to leave a little bit of money on the table? Sure, you will. But you're also going to save yourself from losing your ass on a deal because you didn't know what you were doing. So let's protect ourselves and let's write down what is our hedgehog concept. By hedgehog concept, what I mean is very clearly define what is your business's core function. Mine is I am a nationwide virtual wholesaler. We do marketing in all 50 states. We do not leave the office. Everything we do is virtual, and our exit strategy on that contract is we are going to wholesale it. If it doesn't fit into that, then we don't do it. It's easy to say no. This also allows us to know exactly what we're doing all day, every day. We don't have to worry about shiny objects, okay? Just this is what we're going to do. Now, if you're getting started in wholesaling, where that can waver and what you really need to decide is do you want to be nationwide? Do you want to be statewide? Do you want to be countywide, citywide, zip code wide, whatever it is, you need to understand exactly what that is. And listen, you might not know the answer right out of the gates. I would say start smaller and then expand out. So if you want to say, I'm going to be a virtual wholesaler in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. If that leads to I am a wholesaler in Dallas, Fort Worth, that's fine. Then eventually it can lead to, hey, it's all of North Texas, or it's all of Texas, whatever. Start small, make it plain, make it understood that this is what you're doing. That is your hedgehog concept. The second thing that you need to decide on, and one of the areas that I had to give credit to the education program that we went through, because I don't know if they did it intentionally, but they didn't teach us about direct-to-seller marketing, so we got deals off the MLS. That essentially made our decision for us on how we were going to generate leads. Our lead generation source was MLS. That's how we got all of our deals. Okay. Every single one of our deals in the first year of wholesaling came directly off the MLS. What you need to decide, I do not think that you should be getting deals off the MLS. I think you should be doing direct-to-seller marketing. You need to decide what lead generation tactic you are going to use. Whether that's driving for dollars, bandit signs, cold calling, direct mail, Facebook ads, PPC, PPL, whatever it is, you need to decide what that lead generation tactic is going to be, and you choose one and you stick with it, and you have the budget set aside for a minimum of 90 days. Okay. I understand why certain people believe that we need to have multiple channels of lead generation going on. I think that's a mistake when you first get started, though. It's hard enough to do everything that we need to do inside of a wholesaling business to also be an expert at tracking our marketing efforts and making sure that we're closing, that we're following up, that we're running our numbers correctly. Have one lead generation channel, okay? And honestly, with enough information that is out there today, with other people showing you exactly how they're running their business, it's easy to say, hey, I resonate with that person. I see what their business does. I'm just going to copy exactly what they're doing. So, for example, if you're watching my channel, maybe you resonate with me and you resonate with Titanium Investments and you say, I want to mirror what they're doing. Okay. Well, we have two main marketing channels right now. We have virtual assistants that are cold calling for us, and we have PPL. The majority of our deals are coming from PPL. So if you wanted to just copy exactly what we're doing, I would suggest pick one of our PPL channels, whether that's Speed to Lead, Property Leads, Leadzolo. Those are the three that we're using. Pick one of those. Have the budget set aside and stick with it for a minimum of 90 days. Okay? Now, you've educated yourself. You watched those videos. You decided that you want to be a virtual wholesaler in a specific city, in a specific market. You've picked your lead generation channel. Now it's time to start generating those leads and relentlessly following up on the phones. Okay? If you've watched my videos, you'll follow the closer's formula. You'll be able to have pretty quickly. I mean, we at this point, 1,000+ people that I know of are using the closer's formula. And what we see is that allows them to have normal conversations. They don't feel like they have to be an expert salesman or anything like that. It's very comfortable for them to have those conversations right out of the gate and pretty quickly have results, sign contracts from using the closer's formula. I would also suggest that you use our profit calculator. This is going to help you make sure at least that you have a general understanding of why you're contracting each deal and making sure that your numbers are as accurate as possible. That's going to be probably one of the first major hiccups that you run into with being a new wholesaler is underwriting deals correctly and making sure that you're getting the right deals under contract at the right numbers. That being said, there is safeguards that you can put up for yourself. You can always be conservative on the ARV, even if it's just every single deal. Subtract $10,000 off the after repair value. Okay, I think the after repair value is $150,000. Plug in $140,000. I think the repairs are $30,000. Plug in $40,000. Be aggressive on the rehab, conservative on the ARV. If you do that repeatedly, you're going to see that you get a lot more good deals than just, hey, I absolutely swung and missed on this one. Okay? So conservative on the after repair value, aggressive on the rehab numbers. That will help you. I mean, that right there, that's a huge $20,000 swing on every single deal if you just stick to that rule. Okay? So you start aggressively following up with these leads, calling them, maybe even getting some under contract. Now that you've got deals under contract, here's where I think the majority of people like almost accidentally stall out their business. You've got lead generation going. You're talking to sellers. You get a property under contract. And now you stop talking to sellers because now you're going to move on to the next function of a wholesaling business, which is dispositions. One of the things that we did when we first got started was we almost all of our deals early on were joint ventures. We connected with a gentleman who, quite frankly, just didn't want to do acquisitions. Yet he was really good at building relationships with end buyers. And so he was completely down for doing a joint venture partnership. And we did that to the tune of a couple hundred deals together. And it made it so much easier for us early on that we did not have to focus on dispositions. Now, we did have to focus on transaction coordination, and we were still focusing on acquisitions. But because we were doing the JV deals, it allowed him to get really good at dispositions and allowed us to get really good at acquisitions. And I look back at that now, and I don't know if we're able to accomplish some of what we did in our first couple of years if we didn't JV those deals. Now, I always tell people when they get started, you want to move away from JVing with people as quickly as possible because you want to keep 100% of the proceeds. That being said, it's a lot better to have 50% of a watermelon than, what is it, 100% of a grape or something like that. I mean, I just look at it and I know that there was deals that got moved because we had someone that was solely focused on building those relationships and dispositions. And we did not have the bandwidth. I mean, it was just me and Cassie when we got started. So there was no way in the world that we would have been able to do that in those early days. So I suggest early on, find someone, JV with them, and allow them to do what they're going to be good at, which is dispositions, and allow you to stay solely focused on your lead generation, follow-ups, and acquiring more deals. Now, as quickly as you can build up a bankroll and you actually have operating capital, I would suggest at that point in time, you do need to invest in yourself to take your business to the next level. Whoever you resonate with, if it's with us, this is where Titanium University would come in. This is a great opportunity where, hey, I've got some deals under my belt. I've built up some operating capital. I make an investment. Join Titanium University. And the reason why that's important is one, it's opening you up to more people to do business with inside the community. We have a ton of people inside of Titanium University that are now working together. One's doing lead generation, another one's doing dispositions, right? There's some people that are solely doing acquisitions for other members. There's some people that are solely doing dispositions because that's what they're focused on and that's what they want to get great at, okay? The other thing is the daily implementation calls. I wish so bad that back in 2014 and 2015 when we got started, if we had the opportunity to come in and just sit down and ask questions and just say, hey, I'm running into an issue right now. Does anybody know how to overcome this? We didn't have anybody to have that support system. We had a question that literally happened just 5 minutes before this call. Someone inside the university says, hey, they're having some struggles with dispositions. That will be a topic that's discussed inside the community. And then tomorrow's implementation call, we're going to go over that and we're going to figure out what are those issues. I remember early on when we were running into issues, whether it was TC, whether it was acquisitions, we weren't able to find any deals. We had nobody. And that's a very lonely place. Being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest things to do. Not many people understand us. So having that support system. So invest in yourself, join some sort of community, whoever you resonate with. Hopefully it's us. And get that support. The next thing is expanding your lead generation, right? The lead generation, when you get started, should be through one channel. We've seen this time and time again through Titanium University, where someone comes in, they start inside of property leads, and then they expand to speed lead or lead Zolo. The other thing is you can expand to an entirely different channel. For example, if you start getting a bunch of inbound leads through PPL, you're going to have a bunch of leads that you need followed up with. Maybe it's hiring a virtual assistant to do that follow-up system with you, right? Whatever it is, expand that out to add another layer to the lead generation. And then also start expanding the systems that you're using. You should have a comping software. At this point in time, this is where, hey, you've got deals under your belt. You have a known JV partner that's doing dispositions with you. I think this would be a good time for you to invest into a disposition software, whether that's Investor Lift, Deal Speed, Investor Base, whatever it is, dollar and cents wise, and also volume wise, right? Setting goals out for yourself and understanding, hey, this is how many deals I want to do a month. Make your decisions based off of that, and then set yourself up with getting the appropriate systems to be able to do the job, right? Dispositions is always going to be the struggle at the beginning because you haven't built those relationships. So I think it's absolutely necessary to invest in a software that can help you with that. And then again, having that training to understand How do you build relationships? How do you talk to your buyers? How do you vet buyers? It's a whole different process, and it's very important that you understand that and you learn that and you go through that process over the course of time. If I were starting wholesaling today, those would be the steps that I would take. And when I look back and I say, how did we survive? Well, it was because we spent $65,000. We got that education, which I'm saying you can get for free off of YouTube today. We had one sole focus on lead generation. That was the MLS. I'm telling you, you should do something similar to that, kind of like PPL. Speed to Lead Coupon Club, $29 a lead. That would be the lowest barrier of entry right there. Speed to lead. The next thing, start calling those leads using the closer's formula. Use our profit calculator to underwrite those deals. Use our videos that we have for coming and underwriting. Get something under contract. Find someone to JV with. One of the things that I would suggest on finding a JV partner, you could go into our free Facebook group, The Vault. Join that. Type in, hey, do any Titanium University members want to be my Dispo partner? What you'll find there is there are going to be specific people that are great at dispoing deals in certain locations. Todd Chun is amazing in Detroit, Michigan, right? Tyler Osborne, Ohio. Glenn, Arizona. We have multiple members in Florida, Texas, all across the United States. So wherever you've identified what market you want to be in, find a Titanium University member, do deals with them. Once you've made enough money, now you're part of the family, you can join Titanium University. Those would be the steps that I would take to get started today. I mean, I don't think that you should overcomplicate it. Just like when we got started, even though we lacked the knowledge on how to really do this business, the simplification of wholesaling is the reason why we were able to get started. I just didn't know that there was other things going on. And I fear the majority of people are overwhelmed by the information that exists. Should I be cold calling? Should I be doing direct mail? Should I do PPL? I've heard PPL sucks. I heard PPL died. I see RJ locks up deals, but that's just because he's RJ. There's so much information out there. I think if you just really break it down, every lead generation tactic works to a certain degree. What really works is the one that you're willing to stick with. So let's see. Man, we got someone on Twitch. He says, I need to know that you could hide a donut in your beard. I did know that I could hide a donut in my beard. Actually, funny enough, I have a donut in my beard. I don't know if you know that. It's a little mini chocolate donut. David Hernandez. What's up, David? I have this property. It comes with 2 other properties. I've never come across this. It's 3 properties that just go by traditional wholesaling formula on each property and then add them up. So this is a unique question because is it 3 separate addresses? If so, then yeah, you should individually underwrite them. Make sure you're getting them at the right price per property. If it is 1 property and it has 3 houses on it, then that's a whole different, very unique type of underwriting, and it's also going to create a little bit of chaos when it comes to dispositions. What is PPO? Not PPO, PPL, pay per lead. Pay per lead is Lead Zolo, Property Lead, Speed to Lead. You can check out the links for those companies in the description of this video. But essentially what they do is they run ads, they generate the lead, and then you can choose to buy that lead for yourself. So you're buying the lead from them. It's what I use to do the majority of my deals. So if you want to go back and watch last week's acquisition week, every single day, Monday through Friday, I use some sort of PPL provider calling leads live. Jay Smith says, who has used Speed to Lead? Jay, I will tell you, we have been using Speed to Lead since 2021. I have quite a few videos on here of me using Speed to Lead. And the vast majority of people inside of Titanium University use Speed to Lead. And it's probably our number one lead provider inside the group. How would you go about outsourcing cold calling for the first time? Well, I would just hire virtual assistants through Integria virtual staffing. That's who we use for our VAs. They come already trained. They get managed, so you don't have to worry about training them. You don't have to worry about managing them on a day-to-day to make sure that they're actually dialing out, that they're not writing your clock, like they have a manager that does it for you. And then it's just about more on your side, James, because we do have services like Integria, where your role is going to come in is making sure that you're giving them the appropriate data and that you're tracking to make sure that they're able to hit their KPIs that you need on a daily basis. That would be the number one thing that you need to be focused on. What is the best way other than networking to build and maintain a buyer's list, as well as how do you recommend managing buyer contacts based on areas of interest? Okay, so Adrian, I actually have a video on my channel using Privy on how to locate buyers for specific areas. Okay. One thing that I would say, Adrian, is we've really kind of moved away from the whole, like, I want to build my buyers list because now we have systems out there like InvestorLift and Deal Speed and InvestorBase that already have these buyers lists built out for us. So at that way, it's more about building the relationships through presenting deals, right? One of the things I've never really been a advocate for is cold calling buyers when you don't have a deal to sell them. So I always like, hey, we have a deal in this area. We know that you're a buyer. We're calling, we're presenting the deal to them. And then if the deal doesn't work out, that's where we're asking, why does this deal not work out? We're trying to get specific feedback on the deal and then understand what they're looking for moving forward. And then managing buyer contacts based on areas of interest. Again, that's where these systems really come into play because it's letting you know that they're a buyer in that area and they've already bought in that area. So, for example, if you go the more affordable route like Privy is going to tell you this person bought a property right there in the neighborhood, right? So you don't have to really ask them like, you know, are you buying in this area? It's, hey, I already know that you bought in this area. The other more expensive routes like InvestorLift and whatnot, those let you know that not only that they bought in that area, it will let you know all the areas that they buy in, and then also how frequently they've opened up your emails, how many offers they're making, what other deals they're currently working on, how many deals have they done in the area. It really opens up your eyes to that. So a lot of that is already just fixed inside of the systems now, Adrian. So you don't necessarily have to do that, whether it be inside of a CRM or a spreadsheet or something like that. How does Speed to Leads Coupon Club work? Are the Coupon Club leads just exclusive leads that didn't get purchased? So Coupon Club is a monthly fee, and then it's $29 per lead. They're non-exclusive. And yeah, essentially it was their leads that either nobody purchased or no one exclusively purchased them. So when you go to buy leads off of Speed to Lead, you have the option of I want it exclusively for an hour, 48, I think it's 24 or 48 hours, or 100% exclusive. So for example, if I went in there and I said, hey, I want this exclusive for 48 hours, well, then I get my 48 hours. And then after that, other people can come in and they can buy it. And that was where a Coupon Club would come in. And again, I'm not big on exclusive leads. There is no such thing. I promise you, if they build out speed of leads form, they build out property leads form, lead Zolo's form, and everybody else's form. Okay, they're going to keep going until they need to sell, especially if they're motivated. How would you handle a seller not wanting to give inspection time after contract because they got burned 2 times before? They're saying, do your inspections before the offer, but wanting to wholesale the deal. So Dustin, I hate to break the news to you. I am very stern on this, and I have a good video for you on this. It's a short one. I did it a couple of weeks ago. It's called My Process is the Process. And essentially, a seller is not going to tell me that I have to change my business because someone else did poor business. Okay. The example of this, Dustin, is if I wanted to sell my house to Open Door, I could not tell Open Door that they have to change the way to do their business. You just can't. They'll walk away. They'll say that's not how we do it. Why would we be any different? You have to decide that this is the way that you're going to do business, and you don't waver from that, especially when it's just you. The reason why is because as you move forward in your business and you start hiring out and you decide that you don't want to do acquisitions and you don't want to do dispositions anymore, and you're going to have somebody else do that on your team, they need to know how to handle that question right there. Everyone on my team would handle that the exact same way because that's the process. We don't do that. We absolutely have to have an inspection period. Otherwise, we cannot buy your house. And it's going to cost you. There's going to be a time where someone says, all right, I can't do business with you either. What I've learned is when I've wavered and I've changed the way that we've done business to accommodate someone, it normally did not work out well for us. Angel says he's using Speed to Lead now. He bought the $999 package, and they added a $400 bonus credit to his balance. Currently on the $29 coupon club and calling daily with his buddy Caesar on YouTube, both Titanium Titans. Love those guys. Love seeing you and Caesar working together, Angel. That's awesome. Does Speed to Lead work with agents, or is it seller only? They do have listed properties on there, and they're normally a lot cheaper. So it will say on the before you buy the lead, this property is listed, or it will say this property is not listed. So the non-listed ones are going to be a lot more expensive. The ones that are listed on MLS are going to be cheap. What's the conversion rate on coupon club leads, assuming the person buying them is good at closing deals? So the one thing that we see that people struggle with on coupon clubs is getting a hold of people. And the reason why is because, well, you're missing literally the name of the company, Speed to Lead, right? Because the coupon club leads are going to be older. I think they're 48 or 72 hours. So you're missing that key element of speed. So getting a hold of the sellers is normally the hard part. That's the part where most people struggle. And I've seen anywhere between 1 out of every 15 to 1 out of every 20 with some different companies. Now, that being said, I don't know if they're tracking those KPIs long term, right? Does that include the ones that they close 3, 4, 5 months after it's purchased? Because that does happen with PPL leads. But 1 out of 20 would be a safe number. What are questions you guys got? I like the questions. You know, we've had the conversation around here about doing a Q&A live. What do you guys think about that? When comping, let's say outskirts of cities or harder, more rural area, how do you comp those? Most houses are spaced out where I wouldn't consider a comp. How would you handle that? So, obviously, comping rural is always somewhat of a tricky situation, and we we always want to try to find the closest blueprint properties as possible, right? So the first thing that we want to do is I always want to keep the time frame as tight as possible. So within the past 6 months or a year, okay? And then I'll expand the distance. So I always start with a quarter mile, I go to half a mile, then I go to a mile, and then I'll go to 5 miles, okay? And then what I'm trying to find is year built, square foot, bed and bath count, and lot size. If we can keep those pretty similar, even if we're 5 miles out, what I'm trying to pay attention to is what are the drastic differences between my property and something that might be 3.5 miles away? Is it that this is in the middle of town and I'm not? I'm on the outskirts. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Right? Do we face similar features, right? If it's rural, is it like, hey, are we both facing the woods? Or is one facing a school and the other one's facing commercial? Something like that. This is where the conservative nature of comping a property really has to come in. Because there's going to be times where you just can't find the identical blueprint comp. And so you have to kind of make safe assumptions based off of it. The other thing that I would say is when you're comping something that's rural and difficult to comp, the next thing that you need to look at is this a deal that can be dispoed? So this is where like having a tool like Investor Lift is amazing because you can kind of stop comping, go to Investor Lift and see like, hey, do I have enough buyers to even pursue this to begin with? That's definitely one of the things I do there is I go into Investor Lift, look, how many buyers do I have in the city? If I don't have a minimum of like 2,000 buyers in the city, then I'll go to the county. Normally inside of the county, I will have that many buyers, and then I go out and I expand the distance. If I don't have any comps on the distance, then I expand the time. And I try to shrink the distance and see if time gives me comps. If not, last resort, I go expand time and distance. The other thing is if I just can't find any comps, I'll go to Zillow and I'll look at the actives to see if there's something actively listed that is somewhat of a similar type property. Mr. Bates, discount code is titanium. And I think we actually have a for speed to lead. In the description of the video, there's a link for a special on speed to lead. If you had $2,000 spent on PPL leads and you needed a deal, which lead source would you use and what specifically would you buy? Speed to lead. I would go do one of their packages. Just like Angel was talking about, he spent $999. They gave him $400 for free, and he's buying $29 leads. I mean, listen, you can go watch my lives from last week, and you can see me get deals in one day for less than $2,000. That's absolutely where I would start. Is the FCC going to start fining for using PPL leads if you're not the source company who contacted the lead? I've heard rumors that that's going to happen. I will say I'm in very close communication with Speed to Lead, Property Leads, and Lead Solo. There have not been any red flags or alarms thrown up as of yet. If that does happen, then I'm sure there will be workarounds to it. To be honest with you, Tony, there's always a solution for stuff like this that comes up. I mean, just off the top of my mind, if they really wanted to do that, then it's pretty simple for us to have a landing page made with our company name on it and the specific leads that are generated for our company still come to our company. I mean, it's really not. It's not ever going to shut down that lead generation tactic. Or is something potentially going to change in the future? Probably. I mean, listen, our government wants to get involved in everything. They want to have their hands stuck in the milkshake. So I would assume changes will come down in the future. But as of right now, I'm not going to worry about that. Just like when we used to do SMS marketing heavily, I said it when the changes started there. I said I'm not worried about it because I wasn't, because we were texting and we were getting deals and we were wholesaling. And I let the people that were running the SMS company worry about that. And then we started. This is why having multiple channels at some point in time is vitally important for you, right? So we had cold calling going on with the same data that we were texting. And when texting eventually started going down, we put more of a focus on cold calling. And then that's also when we added speed to lead 2021. So we were big on texting in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. 2022 is when texting started going down. We added PPL in 2021, and it kind of just took over from there. So do I think changes will come? Yeah. Do I think it's going to happen, this month? No. I think there would have to be some sort of warning that would come down. I think the people that run in these, I would be surprised if something had drastically changed. They just weren't apprising us of that information. All right. So just to reiterate, appreciate all the questions, all the engagement today. You guys are awesome. Just to reiterate, if I were to start wholesaling today, this number one thing that I would do to educate myself, I go watch all the videos on this playlist on my channel, The Foundations for Virtual Wholesaling. This would be my education course, all of these videos. There's 44 videos on here. You could probably knock those out in about 2 weeks. You'd be fully educated. You know what you need to do. Make a decision on a hedgehog concept. I'm going to be a virtual wholesaler in Fort Worth, Texas. Something simple, plain, stick to it. If it doesn't fit inside of that, say no. Next thing, pick a lead generation tactic. Sounds like some of you guys are doing it right now. Speed to lead. That's what I'm going to work with. I'm going to stick to a budget for 90 days. Okay? Start getting those leads. Relentlessly call them. Follow up. If you have not had a conversation with them, keep calling, keep texting until you have a conversation with them. They opted in. They want to sell their house. We do not know the reasons why they're not answering the phone. Don't make assumptions. Keep calling until they sell. Sell us the house or tell us no. Okay? Keep going. Dispositions right off the bat, JV with somebody. Like I said, go into the vault, free Facebook group. Say, hey, any Titanium University members want to be my Dispo partner? Guarantee you will have people jump at it. When starting inbound tactics, what are the best strategies you would start with that would bring the most conversion to a deal ratio? I don't understand what you mean by that. It sounds like you don't know what that means. I mean, so you got inbound leads. Okay, what are the best strategies you would start with that would bring the most conversion? Everything that I do. Well, those videos right there. The way that I talk to sellers, that's all based around what you're asking right there. Hey, saw you build out more on my website. You're looking to sell. How much you want to get for it? Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. Open-ended question, comp on the phone. Get the deal under contract. I got video after video of me doing it and explaining how to do it. As far as strategies go, if you're asking between like sub-twos, flips, rentals, all of that, this is what I'm saying. You need to have a hedgehog concept and say, this is what I'm doing. For me, I'm a nationwide virtual wholesaler. It makes it really easy. I don't have to worry about any type of strategies. If you're worried about all the other shiny objects out there, that's where I think you're going to have issues. Outside of that, I don't know what you're asking in that question. So I apologize if that didn't answer, but I feel like it probably encompassed the majority of the answer that you were looking for. All right. That being said, I covered it. Boom, baby. Nailed it. All right. I appreciate you guys hopping on here today. Yeah, man. 40 feels good. Appreciate all the happy birthday wishes. Make sure you give me a like on the video. Go watch those videos on the Foundations for Virtual Wholesaling. If you need to learn something about wholesaling, that playlist guaranteed has the answer. Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.